Hello, ladies. Good morning. Sorry about the delay. Zoom is not letting me run my account. They were like, "Who are you?" They're like, "The host has not started this meeting." I'm like, "I'm the host." So, good morning, good morning. Apologize for my face. I When I scheduled this meeting, I was meant to be getting ready for a date in London, and instead I decided not to go to London. So it's 5 in the morning on Sunday in Hawaii. And I watched a very sad show last night and I cried so hard. My face was just like swollen nightmare. So good morning to everyone. Thank you for making time to do our last class call. This is a final debriefing. We're going to go over a little bit of housekeeping, but here we are a week later. Last Sunday, we were waking up, having chilaquiles, feeling so good about our ceremony and getting ready for our decompression and our graduation today. And it feels like a million years ago. So many things have happened in one week, and it's been amazing to watch you guys integrating. I know you've been integrating on a personal level, and you've been integrating publicly, which I love to see so much. And I'm so proud of each of you. And so today, this is your time to do a final check-in. We had an amazing ceremony, and a lot of things actually got moved in that ceremony. A lot of adjustments were made. A lot of things dropped in, a lot of clarity. And so this is your opportunity to decompress on anything, integrate on anything, give your final thoughts on anything. And then, kind of when we're done with that, we will go into the housekeeping, and this will be a short call. So I'd love for each of you just to check in with me here and give us a little bit about where you're at. And then, yeah.
I can go. Um, I'm all right. I'm definitely feeling like a sense of urgency in like regards to just like moving forward in general. I'm working on creating and putting the things together at least for like a trial run package so that I can like photograph um what I'm going to be offering, and Nick and I are have um started like working on my website again. Um Yeah, I feel like motivated and good. I had reached out to Amaris and her husband Opal, which is they're the people who do the wholesale crystals, who I had like plopped that in. So she's a huge influencer, and she's also under me with Oliveda. And they both were like really excited about, bringing this in like a artsy creative way, so that other people can create their own beautiful spaces. I did reach out to Amy. I told her what I was doing, and I didn't hear, like, there was just no response. Um, so just continuing to like look at who I want to be sharing and like plugging away and just like not caring if people respond or not, like
Yeah.
lesson in unattachment.
Yeah. That's hard, of course, to go through that when people don't respond, but I want to encourage you to like let that not be the first form of contact. This is
Yeah,
the original invitation. When you get your
right.
boxes together and you have like more of a finished product, you can also follow up back in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, totally.
hey, here's this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'll be sharing about it more too. Like I'm feeling like just the need to become more active in my social media and all that stuff. And Nick and I had our first therapy session yesterday. And that went really well. The guy like totally saw through all of it. Um and um Nick really liked him. Like he called Nick out on, not like in an, you know, like a bad way, but like, you know, recognizing when his inner child is taking over, when his inner teenager, that like ego is coming out, you know, and like he addressed our attachment styles, you know, and basically was like, this boils down to like attachment. Like like you guys both have childhood trauma that, you know, you haven't moved through, and seeking validation, you know, at least on his part. So
Yeah.
um we're supposed to hear from him, I would assume at some point today. He said he would get back to us with a proposal by like late last night, but it hasn't come through yet. So, but Nick, you know, voiced wanting to have his own one-on-one time with the guy so that he can like work through some of the deeper stuff. And I'm like, sure, that's totally fine. So, like, hopefully the proposal that comes through will be good. But like, there's also like stuff with my parents have come up again, and like their judgment, and like my mom, like, kind of came at me this morning about Nick, and then she like texted my dad saying that she like let me have it but accidentally texted me.
Oh, damn.
Like, so there's this like fucking petty drama bullshit. I'm like, fuck it. Like, I just want to be like, and I, so that like, so that like sense of urgency to like really freaking make this happen and like get on my own is like come to a head again right now, I feel like. And so it's good timing. Like, we're on the other side of this. There's the support that's built in, you know, like I feel like obviously I've been preparing for this.
Yeah.
So just like really buckling down and like doing the things.
Awesome. Well, gosh, are you going to keep this aspect of what's going on with you and Nick private?
Yeah.
Emily, of course.
Yeah. I told my mom that we're like working through our own stuff, and that like we, you know, we've got, you know, I was like, you know, we obviously have like shit from our childhood. Like, you know, his parents did, you know, I mean, he didn't have a dad and his mom wasn't around. And so, you know, and my parents did a not very good job either. And they know it.
Yeah.
I mean, they sent me away. They couldn't, you know, they like literally didn't know how to parent me. So they sent me away. So they know, you know, and so there's definitely like, it was interesting hearing the therapist, because like I'm anxious attachment style,
Yeah.
and Nick's like fearful avoidant attachment. And he's like, okay, so like if we can, like, he's like, it's going to be really interesting working with you too, because it'll be really magical. Because once you heal your attachment styles, and you're just going to be healthy and attached. And, but like, it's all just like childhood, like what you didn't receive as a child, and you're compensating. And he's like, you know, he's like, you know, because Nick's like, I'm so smart and like nobody sees me and like all this stuff. And I'm like, you know, he was basically like, you know, I know that you think you're thriving, but you're just surviving right now. And like, I want to get you to thrive.
Hmm.
Um, so like that felt really good.
Good. Well, you guys look beautiful in your picture yesterday. Very
Thanks.
shiny and happy, and yeah,
Yeah, we had a good evening together.
good.
Yeah.
Your presence online feels really strong right now. I know you guys, there's all these emotions, like that feeling of urgency. I understand that. I'm in it. We are in a really pivotal moment right now because there's shiny things happening and people are watching you come back from your retreat. You have these gorgeous new photos that you guys did. Those photo shoots you guys did are so awesome. And I just want to encourage each one of you to like ride that energy, and then also like it actually doesn't have to end, and it feels like it's gonna, there's just this like wild energy time, but you can use this momentum and keep going with it. And really all that's happening right now is you guys feel powerful coming off of this graduation, the ceremony, just your completion. And the urgency is actually, in my opinion, the power that you feel. And you're like, we have it in our hand. We're like, oh yeah, I did this. I'm powerful. I learned this about myself. I completed this. I accomplished this. And really that power, it's there all the time. We're just feeling it intensified. And so I want to encourage each of you to not only handle it immediately right now, but also like allow yourself to have a longer term plan for, moving this power in your business. For me, I'm like, okay, there's this pressure like, okay, last year I signed 2 people for the EE method in this window after the retreat. And so I have that pressure like, oh, I have to sign somebody during this time because everybody's watching my stories, blah, blah, blah. I haven't even made it into welcome dinner night yet of sharing in my stories, like I can stretch this out as long as I want. There's no rules, there's no time frame, and in this urgency, it's real. And also, anybody who's waiting to work with us or who is ready to work with us is like going to be available for the power that you all are feeling to just land and for you to actually hold that power. So if that like kind of helps you guys think about how you want to move this energy, it's like not just this time of where it has to happen now. It's like we have this power and we have to hold it and be operating from this place now, because this isn't just an accomplishment that's going to go away. This is the new place that you're at. And it's really just a highlighter of places you already were. And your power is it's just out in a different way, if that makes sense. Okay. Thank you, Melissa. Kelsey, it looks like early where you're at too. Are you back in Alaska? Did I do it to you too? Is it 5 a.m.? Sorry, dude.
Yes, it's 7 a.m.
It's 7? Okay, I don't feel as bad for you, but yes.
No, it was fine. It was fine. Yeah, it's still like fairly light here though, so
yeah.
Yeah, getting into winter. Yeah, I'm good. I also am like feeling that energy and that high and just feeling a lot more confident and supported after our trip. It's just so important for me to be around like-minded people and people that really like hold me to a higher standard. And yeah, I'm just kind of trying to like ride out I'm here in Alaska for like 3.5 more weeks, and then I'll be like in Tennessee for the rest of the year and like kind of indefinitely, like besides travel and stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. And yeah, I just am feeling kind of the same way, like energized. I just want to be again like more consistent with my online presence. I feel like I already am more than I was like just in the last month. I'm just kind of starting to get into like my new routine as being like an entrepreneur completely on my own and not, having the other business and like the pressure I was always feeling
Yeah.
with that. And so yeah, I'm just kind of excited to see like what I am capable of doing when I have all of this time and energy. And so I'm feeling already like, if I can spend an hour or two a day really focusing on stuff, that's like way more than I was before, And so I just am remembering like the idea of like staying power and just not, letting myself get triggered when I feel like things aren't going my way. I feel like, there's been a couple of instances where things like that happen where I feel like I'm not being seen or not like being received the way I want to. And it's just something I'm kind of doing a lot of work on personally around that and like really getting that story out of my head, because I think it does, like taint the energy. And I don't think it's true. I think that, things you do have to like show a certain level of like commitment and staying power yourself before people really take you seriously. And I think that having that patience is just something that I haven't had the appetite for with everything else going on in my life. But now that I'm like really in it and I'm like, this is what I'm doing and there's nothing holding me back, it's like I feel more ready to like have that patience and just keep going, because I do believe that like if I just keep going, I will succeed in the way I want to. And so it's really a matter of just like showing up every day and keep moving in that direction. So that's kind of how I feel.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's like my most irritating millionaire advice is the people who succeed are the people who succeed. There's not really a secret sauce. Like if there honestly was a secret sauce, I mean, you gotta have sauce, but you got sauce, Chelsea. But like if there was actually like a secret sauce, everyone would know it. There's no like
Right.
everyone would know the way. And really it's just it is finding your way, also being smart and refining and using ways that work that help people, right? But just staying the course. And, I think this would be helpful for each of you ladies. Something that Chelsea and I discussed in her final one-to-one is Chelsea, you shared like having that accountability and, the structure of being part of something that's moving along is helpful for you. And, we talked about this in our one-to-one. You guys are still in a structure. Okay. And we're still watching. So if accountability to being part of something or to, being witnessed is something that is helpful for you, we are obviously going into a different level of mentorship, right? It's not the same. The membership is not the same, but it's still a thing. There's still accountability. There's still classes. There's still a goal. There's still things moving you along, getting yourself on the database. In August, I set a 90-day goal with you guys, and you might be attuned with that goal. You might have not even thought about it for a while, but we taught you how it really takes time to bring something to fruition. Like check in with yourselves, decide what it is that you want to happen. Hey, what in the hell? What are you doing? Get down. What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't do this. We don't do this. We don't do this. Really checking in and deciding like I'm staying on track. What are my goals? What did I say I was going to do? And realizing that you're in this container where you get to come and celebrate, where you get to, check in. We are going to have our office hours in a couple weeks. I'm going to schedule the meet and greet little cocktail hour as soon as possible to just sort of kick off this membership year. And then we're going to have office hours, and then we'll have our quarterly call. Like obviously the frequency is not the same, but there's still these moments of check-in for you guys, and you guys can set goals. You're going to know in ahead of time when these calls are happening. Set your goals, decide what you're going to do. We're going to have office hours, for example, probably the third week. And that just means I'm going to open a Zoom room. You guys can come. It'll be open for 2 hours. Set some goals for yourself right now to have XYZ figured out so that you can come be in that office hour room with us, share what you're doing, have my eyes on it, ask the questions, and use each of these moments as mile markers to keep you accountable, especially if you're the type of personality that thrives with that. And I see, don't be afraid. Like, obviously I don't see every single one of your guys' posts, but I see you out there talking, you're talking about yoga, you're talking about your things. Like it's there. And you guys like talk about your psychedelics, right? Just talk about how you're bringing it in, talk about your mind, Chelsea, like the process, and then make it tangible for people. Give that offer, talk about your process, and philosophize. We still don't know if this is a word, but philosophize, and put your call to action in there, put your offer in there, offer what you're doing. It doesn't matter if you don't even know exactly what you're doing. You're doing something, right? Like the second somebody says to you, hey, I saw you went through this thing and you're like offering psychedelic facilitation now, like tell me more about that. The thing that you're doing is going to get made up right then and there, and so I know for you, especially Chelsea, like still formulating exactly how you're rolling this out as part of your process. Like you're doing it, but you're still kind of not necessarily do you have the exact offer dialed in. At least it feels like you don't have it quite dialed in. So like just know that I think your offers are going to be more individualized. And so all you need to do is talk to people in a way that gets them to want to have a conversation with you. And then the offer is going to come.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that because that's actually like exactly kind of where I'm at. Like I was like, a week ago was graduation. So like today I'm planning on like writing a post talking about the whole experience. But then I'm like, well, like what should be my call to action? Should it be like, microdosing with like one-on-one, or should it be like a serum? Like I'm kind of like overthinking that part of it, so that you're like spot on, that I'm just kind of trying to like figure out like, you know, what my strategy is for like going into this and incorporating it into what I'm already doing.
Mhm.
But I mean, you're right that it's probably not going to be like, it's like, it doesn't matter. It's going to evolve anyway. So I shouldn't fixate so much on like this one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, and of course, having any structure come to life for an offering is good, right? Like the more I understand your offerings, we've talked about this multiple times, the more I understand, the more I can refer people to you. But like also, I keep going back to that thought of what you would have done in ceremony, and you said you would ask questions, right? You remember?
Mhm.
Ask
Yeah.
questions, bring that into your marketing. You know, I'm speaking on a broken platform right now, giving this advice to you guys because not very many people respond to us and our stories. We just have very low engagement, and I don't have a lot of people watching. I could blame it on the algorithm, whatever, but like ask questions in your stories, put polls up, and when somebody answers, send them a message and just engage in conversation. You don't have to be salesy. You don't have to pitch them, but start asking questions about consciousness because that's what your thing is. And then
Mm.
bring that more into your content as well. And like asking those questions. And then when people engage with you, write them back, open the conversation. You are at a point right now where you can afford to be talking to people for the sake and the like goodness of the conversation. I don't always suggest talking to people in DMs without a mission. I don't suggest working for free or anything like that, but you're just getting this going in regards to your psychedelic work. And so it's wise for you to be having these conversations, even if it's not a structured call, even if somebody didn't
Mhm.
pay you for your time, like give that essence of yourself, and then make the invitations, make the offers. Hey, this guy.
Yeah, I love that. That's helpful.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. And hey, what are we doing? My cats are like, you've been home for such a long time. We love you. Please don't ever leave again. Okay, so awesome and awesome. Thank you.
I'll try to form a few sentences. I don't know if I've had enough coffee yet.
I know I'm planning to go back to bed, so I'm drinking some bullshit stress reliever herbal tea.
I'm used to waking up this early. I'm not used to like talking. It's a whole new level. Yeah, let's see. Oh my God, when I went to my next hotel after leaving, it was so hard to leave. But seeing that water, holy moly, like I just like dumped my shit and went and floated in the ocean as long as I could for 2 days straight. I almost missed my damn plane because in the morning, like maybe I can squeeze in another hour float.
I love it. I love it. I felt like we must have been at the airport at the same time as you because how you were posting was like very
Yeah.
optimistic. I'm like, she could have been having nachos and margaritas with us here at the
Hell yeah.
airport.
No, I was busy floating. But one thing that came to me that was really interesting is like I love the water. I'm not like a really strong swimmer, but like I love being in the water. And I was just floating there in this like it was so warm and the sun was beating down on me and I felt so peaceful. And I was like, why can't I just float like this during ceremony? Like I had like this real epiphany of like this surrender that I'm able to do. And, I've been taken away by waves before. Like there's one joke, I was floating once and I got thrown, and my sunglasses, I lost them, and there was a big joke between my family, but yeah, I was like, why can't I just be this peaceful all the time? Because I was just so at peace in that moment.
Very interesting reflection.
Something to, think on further. Like I can't, fly down to Tulum and jump in the ocean every I want to feel that peaceful, but
I mean,
maybe quarterly. So there's that. And then I came back, my man picked me up, and just I couldn't stop just talking until like, so tired, and like I couldn't stop talking until like midnight, like just giving him the downloads and sharing with him. And then it was like straight into major client meetings the next couple of days. We're preparing for a big event, and it's just funny watching, this event that we came off of that's like super intimate, super high end, and then this other event is like 600 people.
oh wow.
Just the difference in the two.
Mhm.
What else? What else? Oh, interestingly enough, I know I told you and Heather, like the biggest issue with my man is that he smokes. 3 days ago, he's like, I haven't had a cigarette in 24 hours. I was like, what? I'm like, are you quitting? He's like, I'm not saying that I'm quitting, because, he doesn't know how long he can make it, but he hasn't had a cigarette in like 3 or 4 days, which is huge for him, like smoking for, I don't know, almost his whole life.
Interesting.
But it also puts a lot of intensity around the house, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like intense feelings, me coming off of the retreat and then him doing that. And yeah, there's a lot of things swirling around this weekend. And then we have an appointment on Monday to go over my branding and my logo. Like we actually made an appointment because we keep saying we're going to do it. And then I'm like, no, we're putting it in the calendar. So
The two of you.
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I blocked off all day Monday. Well, I have one meeting at 9, and then all day Monday, we're going to sit down and work on my branding.
I love to hear it. Something about your energies feels very different, Mandy. I don't know what it is, but something about your energy feels more open and more available in a really good way. It's feels really awesome. I wonder if your man's feeling that off of you as well. He's feeling your transformational energy and it's rubbing off on him. Awesome. Just thinking about like that feeling of floating in the ceremony. And I was thinking about how water supports you, right? Like obviously, water is like not part of your brand or anything like that, but I think that there's messages here for you that can be translated into your brand. Water, when we're floating, we feel supported, like we can relax and let something else hold us. And I feel like that's very much part of the essence of the work you're doing for your people. So I think there's definitely some content and direction brewing for you with that experience of what you felt, and maybe even though that was a challenge for you in ceremony to feel safe in your body, like as you identify that challenge and as you work with psychedelics more, like understanding how to bring in that magic of psychedelics, because psychedelics actually really do support you. But I think where you're at, there's still a little bit of a battle for allowing that, right? And so that also is part of your marketing for people who you would want to work with in psychedelics.
I just laugh because you're totally right.
It's like all together.
Don't relinquish control.
Yeah, it's all pieced together, and it's like, and you could even like coming off of your ceremony, right? Like it might feel like you wouldn't want to talk about how it's hard like as somebody who is going to introduce potentially psychedelics into your work. It almost doesn't make sense on the front end at first to talk about how letting go into the psychedelic experience is hard for you, but I think you can use that as you're growing through it to help people understand how greatly you understand how hard it is to let go and let things support you. So even though, you know, you might not be coming off of ceremony like, I fucking nailed it, like I'm the queen of psychedelics, like not necessarily having that feeling, but the experiences that you're having are still very powerful for your own growth and the work that you're doing. So just kind of seeing maybe where you can weave those things in a little bit in your conversations for CEOs.
Thank you. Oh, and one other smaller celebration is I have a personal Facebook and then I have like my regular Facebook. And I did that when I was working with all these like, 300 coaches and they were DMing me and I got really tired of kind of like, so I separated them. So I do have a personal Facebook and I don't talk about what I do over there. And I don't hide it, but I also just don't talk about it.
Uh,
But I guess that, those compare ones where it's like 3 years ago today. And
yes.
then they upload another picture. So it came up 3 years ago today. It was a picture of some flowers with an old client saying, that we were closing this container. And so I just like randomly decided to post a picture of our certificates.
Yeah.
And I wrote a little blurb just saying like coming off a 7-month blah 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 blah. And I just said modality, but if anyone clicked on, the picture, they'd see.
Yeah.
And I got a bunch of likes and I got like a yoga friend saying like, what modality is this? And in the comments, I said it. And not that I was ever keeping it quiet, but I've always kept those two
Yeah.
audiences separate. So that felt really good too.
That's a big celebration. That's a big celebration. This work is hard to talk about in ways, even for those of us who are comfortable talking about it.
Well, yeah, because like, like my aunties and whatever,
Yeah.
in the realm of sexuality, if people ask me what I do, I say like I do operations for coaches.
Yeah.
If you go a little bit further with me, it's sexuality coaches and and now it's like supporting psychedelics, right? So there's like different layers. So I've always kept it at that like top layer over in my other Facebook profile.
I love it. This is huge. People ask me what I do. I tell them I work with creative entrepreneurs, helping them learn how to expand their businesses, which is true, and not even a drop in the bucket of what I'm really doing.
Yeah.
There's this woman, her name's Dr. Andrea Morningstar. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with her. She was one of Millennium Layer's kind of like high-end clients. She's kind of like an alien. Her and her partner work together. It's essentially energetics, and she was a doctor before she went into the coaching business. And anyways, I was in one of her classes one time and she was talking about how she doesn't code switch. And I had never really heard the term code switching used in reference outside of like racial code switching, right? So like I'm very familiar. There's a lot of African American people who code switch. It's kind of like a very known, common thing within their community where they'll change the way that they talk depending on who they're talking to. So they'll talk. My ex-boyfriend, we used to laugh about it because he would be like, "This is me talking white," for example. But in different environments, he would, talk with a different tone or intonation or just however. And it can be as simple as like how you sound, the words you're using. But the way that Andrea brought this into conversation was she was like, I don't code switch for anyone in any environment ever. And this really struck a chord for me, because she definitely is like an alien on Earth. And she said that decision not to code switch. And so she's talking about her consciousness, her understanding, her thoughts, what she knows, all of that, the way she talks. She said that was one of the most powerful things that she'd ever done for herself in regards to honoring what she knows, who she is, and the work that she's doing in the world. And, I want to like to take that on, to try that on for size. And I'm not comfortable at all not code switching. I definitely work in professional environments where I literally could get fired for the work that I'm doing. So like the fear is real, but just bringing this into conversation with each of you to think about that. you know, and this is also like, in our marketing and in our copy, right? Like, where are we code switching and saying some stupid shit or dumbing things down or trying to make things palpable? I don't know if that's a word. And just trying to like say things in a way. And what if we, you know, not only we're confident to really talk about, you know, what we're doing and what we're into, but then also like talk about it in the real essence of really what it is. So just some food for thought for each of you, and where could each of you step a little bit into into that frequency each day. So maybe just a little takeaway from this of like, where is a moment each day I cannot code switch on myself? Because who is it actually serving, right? To code switch. Like, we are all sharers of information, and not everybody's ready for who we are or what we're doing or the information we have. But what if we operated from this place just a little bit more each day?
Nice.
Can you expand on code switching? Like, I'm not super familiar with that term. Like, I kind of get the idea of it, but a little
Yeah.
expansion would be great.
Yeah, so originally the code switching is for, it was most referenced in like African American communities where Black people would talk a certain way around Black people, and then when they would get around white people, they would talk a different way. You can see it in professional environments. You can see it in writing emails, right? It's almost like the easiest way to reference it is like having a conversation in a professional manner versus another manner is one way that like maybe we would be code switching, right? Like, I don't code switch um I don't talk differently around different races, but I definitely talk differently, for example, if I'm flight attending, right? Heather is a great example of code switching. Heather code switches all the time when she speaks to people who don't have English as their second language. She talks to them in a way that it slows her English down, and she's doing it because she's speaking to people who don't speak English as a first language, but she does it regardless, even if depending on their ability to speak English. So it's kind of like changing the way that we talk, or talking in a way that we think people will be able to understand us better or to get us better. And there's something about code switching when it comes to like what Dr. Andrea Morningstar was explaining, where she's basically saying she's not going to code switch on her consciousness. She's not going to code switch on the information and knowledge that she has. And so it's like, if we were to be talking about ceremony, for example, and when it comes to marketing, like I've talked to you guys about this before, you know, we do have to make things palatable in a way to be able to talk to certain people sometimes, right? And I think that that is valuable. If we come out with all the super spiritual language and all of this and that, like for people who don't understand that yet, they might not have any clue what we're talking about. But there's places where we don't actually need to code switch. There's places where we can actually own our power, own our knowledge, own the essence truly of who we are. And that's what she's talking about. So when she's in rooms with people, for example, like she used to be a doctor, right? Now she's like way off the charts with one of her slogans is like full alien. That's like, she references that. She's like, okay, we're going full alien now. And what she means by that is like her fully embodied knowing self of all of the downloads she has, all of the information. And so for her, she's obviously in the majority of the rooms that she's coaching and teaching, she doesn't have to code switch. But what she's saying is that she doesn't code switch in any environment. So for example, I'm imagining, she didn't bring this into her conversation, but maybe in a room full of doctors at a conference before, maybe she talked in a certain type of manner and left this aspect out. What she's saying now is she doesn't code switch for anyone. And she attributes to a lot of the success that she's had to her ability to no longer code switch. And really what she's saying about herself is she's not going to sell out on herself. She's not going to hold anything back. She's not going to hide anything. She's not going to like, cater it appropriately, if you will. Does that help clarify? Okay. All right, Miss Mandy, thank you so much. Miss Gabby.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to start with saying that I already miss all you ladies. I came back home to my babies missing me. When I left, I had wrote on the mirror on each of their bathrooms with the chalk markers. I left them a little note. When I came back, I was happy to see that it was still there. And then my son asked me, because he can't read yet, he's like, "Mommy, the note on the mirror," he said, "Papi said that you love me and miss me." And I was like, yeah, he was so happy. He gives me a hug. He's like, "I'm happy you're back." So that made me miss him more, even though I'm back with them. I jumped right back into work, so I haven't really had time to integrate a lot until this weekend.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been like catching up with my previous client contracts because I normally do like packages, so like they still come back even after they pay with me. So that has been kind of sitting with me like now, like I feel like I'm being more seen. And I have people asking me about like the microdosing and stuff. So I'm trying to figure out like for my regular body sculpting, maybe not doing those packages anymore because I feel like I'm gonna need more time with these other clients to get them through the microdosing and stuff.
Mhm.
So just figure that out. Yesterday I did meet with the two girls that I'm hosting ceremony with, so that's getting all finalized, and we're getting ready to post it this week, so I'm excited about that. And just everything to come, like I feel ready to do things and exciting.
That's amazing. Your frequency feels different too. Your voice, the way your voice is coming through is really strong. I love it. I freaking love it. I just saw you posted those images in the Voxer. I haven't gotten a chance to look at them, but we're all watching and we're all very excited. And you're modeling, hosting this event for all of us, getting to watch you. So please keep sharing that with us however you can. The part about integrating when you're really busy, I think this is a really important thing to talk about because ideally we'd like to think that somehow things slow down for us or get easier. But as you guys grow your business and there's more on the table and you're making more money and you're having more clients, it doesn't really slow down. And so in a perfect world, it'd be amazing to think that we could go away for a retreat and have all of this time afterwards to integrate, but it's not the reality. And you are going to go into phases where you do need actual time immediately off, and you will be positioned better for that and not have to be so tethered to your, job or the place that you have to go. But I think it's really important for you guys to realize and to model integrating however you can along the way. And I think this is what is going to help you guys not to have the burnout as well. When I came back off of this retreat, I had a couple days to myself. And then I was set to go traveling. I was supposed to leave on Friday night and I had a completely mental breakdown over it. I called my mom and I was like, I need somebody to give me permission to not go. Like, I just need to be home. I just need to, integrate and just be able to be home. And those responsibilities, I was crying because I felt such a responsibility because I was like, I need to go do this. And for each of you, it might be like, I actually have to have a job. I have a job that I have to show up to. If I don't go, I might get fired. Sometimes it's going to be the money. Like, fuck, I got to get back to work. I got to get the money. Like, we're all going to feel this on different ways and in different levels. And it's so important to find the micro moments to be integrating and make certain things non-negotiable. Like, I know it wasn't easy for you guys to stay an extra day in Tulum. That wasn't easy. That cost more money. It cost more time. But thank God you stayed an extra day in Tulum, right? Like, especially you and Melissa had such a, I mean, all three of you that stayed after had powerful moments, and you guys got to sit with a shaman, which is so freaking cool. And like a whole nother like aspect of your experience, a whole nother download, a whole nother teaching sector of your, of your whole entire process. And this is one of the reasons why we have a required 1-day integration after our ceremonies, because the truth is once you get back home, you're full on, right? And you want to be full on for your kids. You're missing your kids so much. You want to be there for them and be supportive and, your partner and all of that. And so finding the balance for each of you to remember that life is not going to actually slow down. Hopefully you're going to make more money and you're going to have more people helping you. So you'll have more resources and it'll be like easier ideally for you in that way. But it might take a long time to get to that place while you're juggling so many things. And so even the littlest of moments, integration doesn't have to be, and you guys can take this into your content as well. Like integration doesn't have to be um more time off, or like learning to teach people about integration in a way that seems doable to them, because it might feel like, okay, I just have to go right back into this, I have to do all of this, and so you could just push that part off. And you're experiencing that right now. You said yesterday you got to integrate with the kids and be at home, and you're finally having this. It's so important even though it's days later. And I'm really happy to hear that you finally have some time this weekend to be with your kids and to be with your family, because not only is it necessary for all of this to land, is you guys really deserve it. And as facilitators on the other side, you really need the integration time. I would say on the facilitation side, you almost need the integration more than the other side, because they're kind of like in it and integrating and enjoying the experience along the way. But when you're on the other side of the equation, that's when one of the things I got to talk to Salome about in our debriefing. She was just like, wow, it's so different on the other side. Like, it's so different. She's like, there's no time for yourself. And I was just like laughed. I'm like, yeah, there's no time for ourselves. And, Heather can, I'm sure, relate to me on this. It's just like we're full on for our people the whole entire time. And depending on what kind of facilitator you are, if you're the type of person who holds the space the entire time, then when you really think about it from an energetic standpoint, it's really freaking intense. Like really, 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 really intense. So you're going to get to practice this on your upcoming ceremony, and it'll be exciting to see how you challenge yourself to honor your integration. It'll be a little different because you're at home, right? It's not like you're away where you could schedule a night away. You're going to be coming straight back. I'm assuming you're going to be coming straight back home and straight back into your house. And every event, no matter how big or small, deserves your integration process. So it'll be exciting to see how you build integration into your next retreat. We call it Jewel on the Couch Day. That's funny. That's great. I love that, actually. I love that. How are you feeling about your event? You feeling like, I know in your message, what I briefly saw is that you're feeling like good about things.
I mean, still nervous, which I guess is normal. but also excited to get out into the community and be seen and grow from there. I know it's a smaller event, but with experience, like I'll be able to grow from that. I feel like it's a good thing for me to do it.
Yeah. I mean, your work is primarily going to be in your community, right? Like, so this is really awesome. I'm excited for you. All right. So we're going to just go into a quick debriefing of the email that I sent you yesterday. We sent a big email out. We advised you to keep that email, star it so that you can refer back to it. And I'm going to refer to it now. And most importantly, I want to go over the contract with you guys, just so you're super clear on everything. You signed a new liability release. The reason you signed a new one is because the name of this program is different. You're no longer in the certification program, you're in the membership. So that's why I had you sign in a new liability release, which I advise you model that for your clients each time they're doing things for you or doing things with you. And then you have your new contract. Obviously, your contract is different than when you were going through the certification program, which is why you have a new one. Sorry, I got signed out. Okay. Okay. All right. So all right, so let's just go over this really quickly. You got the emails with the 2 documents to sign. We recommend you download the copies of your enrollment contract to be able to refer back to it as needed. And once you have signed both contracts, we'll finish your registration process. For those of you who haven't finalized your CPR and first aid, please just get that to us as soon as possible. It is a requirement for you to be actually actively placed on the database. And it is your responsibility to update that for us as you continue to go forward during, next year and whatnot. Ideally, timing it around this time of year is great because then you'll just be renewing it each time. And of course, if you are doing one that lasts for 2 years, please let us know. Officially, the Voxer is going to be closed today. You'll no longer have access to the messages in that chat. The primary place for communication will be email. So anything that is important or something that is a need to know is going to come through email. Made it easy for you. There's a little snake emoji at the beginning of the title line for everything that is EE method related. That way, for those of you who are on our other emailing lists, it will keep it as clean and clear as possible. I don't send a ton of email out, but that's a little signifier for you to know that that's an important email. So that's the only place you're going to receive any official information. We will add you to the EE method Instagram chat. We have one going. I'm going to add it to you. It's just a place for us to stay connected on IG. If there's interesting things that you want to share or send, it's really just for connection and fun. Basically, the majority of what I send in there is like recipes for how to make mushroom food, cute mushroom food. So just a place for us to share and stay connected. And then as far as the database, so just know that you're going to submit your bio to us and we're going to go over it. So you're going to email it to us. We're going to look at it. We're going to edit it and we're going to help you make it clickable. We're going to help you make it correct for the database. So don't sit on this forever and be like, I don't know what to write. Just write something and know that it's going to just be a first draft and that we're going to edit it. I'm advised you guys to already take a look at the database and read other people's bios so you can get kind of an idea of the flow. And remember that this is the idea behind this is to write something that gets people curious to click on you, to take you to the place where they can learn everything else about you. Okay, so currently all of the bios that are on there lead to their Instagram pages. You don't have to have it lead to your Instagram page, but if you don't have another page, then, you know, Instagram page is fine. And it can be to your website or whatever. And I think somebody asked me this prior to this conversation about, can things be changed? Yes, of course, things can be changed. It's not going to be something where we're going to be changing things all the time. So a different offer every week, we're not going to change it for that. We advise you to have more of a hosted site for your offerings, whether it be a link to your Linktree or your website or whatever, but you do have the ability to change it. It's not locked in stone. I've done that since coming back. I took my intro post on IG and gave it to ChatGPT and turned it into third person bio. Awesome. Wonderful. So when you guys have that ready, go ahead and send it over to us so we can start working on editing it. And then one thing that I want you to really think about is also kind of what we talked about getting sort of clear on what your specialties are. And in theory, we would love to have it organized by specialties or searchable by specialties. We are not set up for it to be like that yet, but having an idea of what your specialties. So you're looking to fill this bio with, you know, a little bit about why psychedelics, maybe how they helped you, what your mission is, sort of where you stand with psychedelics, a little bit about your experience, a bit about what you offer, not the whole offering, just a bit to intrigue them to click your link, and then your specialties. And so I said in this little paragraph about how if it doesn't have to do with psychedelics, leave it out. And that might have left some of you spinning a little bit because some of you are not facilitating psychedelics yet. And so what do you say? What do you do? And I want to be clear that the work that you're doing that is going to be in conjunction with psychedelics, you can figure out how to weave that together. So this isn't about like Xing out everything else that you're doing and all of your other tool set, but where is it cohesive with your work with psychedelics, right? So like Chelsea obviously is very strong in her background with yoga. Is she going to weave psychedelics with yoga in some way? Most likely, clearly, yes, whether it be microdosing or her connection with the body in the psychedelic experience. So she doesn't have to feel like she's going to leave that out. For example, one of our classmates last year, she's a pedicure specialist. That is not going to go in the bio because she's not giving pedicures on psychedelics. So that's just kind of like where there is like the clear, this doesn't need to go in here. This database is for people who are looking for psychedelic facilitators. So you want to shine in your ideals, offerings, specialties of psychedelics, paired with the rest of what you're doing where it's appropriate. Does anybody have any question about that? I didn't want you to feel limited by me saying if it's not about psychedelics, leave it out, but I wanted to clarify what I meant by that. Okay. Website's going to gain a lot of traffic. I started editing the website yesterday. It's going to get a facelift, and during enrollment time, we'll be sharing the website link. A lot of people will be looking at it. So this is a great time for marketing for you guys to get yourself on there. I would love everyone to be on there and active by the time we have our first quarterly master call in November. Obviously, we don't have our photos yet from Fantini. I'm surprised I don't have them yet. He's usually pretty fast. So I will probably get them in like an hour from now that I said that. And the way that's going to work is he goes through and he edits and picks the photos that he thinks are the best. And then he gives me access to the raw files. I look them over and make sure that I'm in agreement with that. And so you'll receive a link. Usually it's a disappearing link that will be active for like 7 days. It'll give you access to all of the photos. What you'll need to do is you'll need to download those photos into your own computer because the link will expire. And I've had a lot of experience with links expiring with photos, and we don't want to do that. So I want to make sure we're on top of it this year. And then the only thing that I'm going to ask you is if you do use the photos that other people are in, such as the group photos or anything that we are in with you, we ask that you please tag appropriately. These pictures are yours to use. The more the merrier. Spread them around, get them seen. Just make sure you're tagging everyone appropriately. Please give attention to completing your feedback forms. Pillar 7's been released to you. If you are behind on any of the other feedback forms, please don't make us come and ask you to do that in email, like just get it done. And in addition to that, if you're feeling inspired to write any type of testimony for me in totality about any aspect of your experience, that's incredibly valuable to me. I did get video or audio testimonies from each of you, but the power of a written testimony is really beautiful. So if you feel inclined to do that for me, I would absolutely love it. And yes, we're going to have a membership cocktail hour meet and greet in the next week or so. I'll send you guys the link as soon as it's scheduled. Hopefully you can make it. We'll go over in the outline of the contract what's expected of you as part of the membership, and live attendance is one of the things that's not expected of you. So, you know, take that into your own regard, however you wish. We always want to see you live. I am still aware of your schedules for the most part, and because our group is pretty small, I will still take into consideration the timing of scheduling, and I will try to make it as palatable for everyone as I can. But we are now merged with the members, and now we span East Coast to Hawaii time zone. So it makes it a little bit harder because at certain times of the year, we're 6 hours apart. And so it's pretty hard to accommodate everyone every time. But there is not a live attendance requirement, so that's helpful. Let's see. Okay. First membership class will be in November. We'll let you know at least 2 weeks ahead of time. I'll let you know as early as I can as possible on those so that you can schedule. And I am going to do Zoom office hours before the month is over. I probably going forward will do them a little bit earlier in the month, but I wanted to have a meet and greet before I did that, before I brought that in. So just know that probably going forward, it'll be a little bit earlier in the month, kind of like a setting the tone for the month type of thing. And that could change. All right, so let's go over this document. I advise you to save the document. It outlines what you receive, what's required from you, how it's facilitated in the rules and regulations. So what does it include? Your placement alphabetically and featuring the EE Method database for psychedelic facilitators, which is an online directory for our certified facilitators. You'll receive quarterly master classes and continuing education taught by the Illuminatrix via Zoom. Online membership portal housing all teachings and resources. Private and one-to-one access to Danielle Bolton is not included in the standard membership. So you're going to get access to your portal. You have a brand new portal. It's going to look and act very similar to the portal that you've had. Your portal that you have will still remain open. You'll still have access to that. A lot of you also have access to the Mushroom. If you don't have access to the Mushroom and you would like to have access to that vault, please just let me know and I will unlock it for you. And now you're going to have your members portal unlocked as well. It'll be the same way that we've been operating. You're going to get an email from Samcart inviting you into the portal. And once you have your contract signed, then we'll release access to the portal for you. Special guests in various psychedelic fields will keep us educated and up to date with the rapidly changing climate of psychedelics. Sometimes I can't give a super advanced notice on that, but I'll always give as much advanced notice as possible, and you will have replay access to everything. We have a developing resource center within the portal that hosts healing, breathwork, playlists, etc., for you to utilize in your facilitation. You have the ability to add our company logo stating certified psychedelic facilitator to your graphic sales pages and media for your offerings. That is going to be located in your resources section of the portal. And there's overlay images in there that you can use as you wish. You have the opportunity to have your offerings and events supported by the EE Method team, which can include consulting, advertising, media creation, and graphic design in exchange for a profit share. That's something outside of the membership, but you can choose to work with us to help you market your things. I will share things from time to time. I will share posts from time to time. Now that I've finally made some traction on going forward with the EE Method page, you can expect to see me share more of your things that feel right and appropriate. You have options to add on members pricing benefits to do your annual membership, like an upgrade, for example, your membership plus one-to-one monthly coaching calls, or your membership plus a one-to-one ceremony. So you guys have discounted rates to working with me in regards to things that I offer with psychedelics. I released the continuation packages to you yesterday. I probably will release a different package to you at some point in the next year, just as an invitation to circle back into working with me one-to-one. In addition to those official packages that I put out, anytime you decide you want to work one-to-one together or you want to get a package of calls, just contact us through the Team Illuminatrix page, Gmail page, and we'll give you pricing on that. So basically that's part of your benefits. You also have access to wholesale pricing for your ceremony supplies and supplements. And I have a graphic for you that I will send over to you for that kind of outlines what's going on there. And I feel like I explained this to somebody, but wholesale obviously means larger amounts for less dollars. So we are not in the business of facilitating just individual purchases of psychedelics, but we are providing you with wholesaling so that you can run your business in a safe way that's dependable. And so once you see the chart of the wholesaling, please know that you can go in with your siblings. That it's not huge amounts, but it's not like an order of 30 microdoses, basically. So if you want to go in on it with one of your siblings, you totally can. And your siblings in the other class might want to go in on something with you. And the way that works is if we send you a pack of 500 microdoses and you want to split it between two of you, the package gets sent to one person and then you guys disperse it and take care of it yourselves. So just know that that's one of the ways that the girls handled wholesaling last year, especially in the beginning when they were just getting their businesses going. They didn't necessarily need a huge order, so they split them up, and you guys can totally do that. I also, when I'm placing larger orders, sometimes I will reach out and I will let you guys know that I'm going to place a larger order. If you want to get in on it with me, sometimes there'll be opportunities for that. We'll wholesale microdoses and chocolates to you, and then we'll see what happens with this new thing that I told you about from our medicine woman. And we'll see how we're going to expand in that way.
And I'm sorry, where is the where will we find the info on the pricing and all that? Is that in the new portal?
I'm going to send that to you guys. And I'll probably put it in the portal. Actually, here's the deal. It's a little risky for me to have a graphic out there floating with price.
Yeah.
So like,
That makes
obviously I
sense.
trust you guys. But I haven't had it like officially posted anywhere. But I will send it to you and you will have it. Okay. What is required of you for continued membership and affiliation? So this is an annual membership fee, not estimated to be more than several $100s per year. First year is included with the cost of your certification program. Rights are reserved to increase membership annual renewal fee in the future as necessary as the program grows while remaining within original reason. Just to let you guys know, the membership price this year for the ladies who renewed was $200. And we opened up renewal 6 weeks before October, and there was also a payment plan if you needed to split it up into 3 payments. So it's not necessarily designed to make money off you guys, but it requires some support. So you can expect it to be in that range. All education and support teachings in your membership portal must be viewed and completed prior to your annual renewal. Your process will be tracked and calculated. So the way that the portal works is there's currently 3 units. There's 1 unit, which is your actual like videos. There's 1 unit, which is resources that has like just little trainings that I extended to you, like the psychedelic CEO classes in there, alter ego activation is in there. Your certified psychedelic facilitator overlays, the playlist will live there. That is the 2nd unit. And then 3rd unit is currently the replays of the breathwork sessions of Giovanni. So the only thing that's required of you is to watch the videos in the 1st unit, and this will make total sense when you see it, and there's a note saying this unit is required viewing. So we're not going to be on you about this. You're not required to attend live, but you are required to view that education as part of your renewal process. So next year, when it's time for you to renew, we'll look at the back end. We'll, see that you've completed that section, and that's part of your agreement. Because right now there's no test, there's no like anything that you have to do to continue your membership, but we want to make sure you're utilizing the continuing education. Also because the climate changes so rapidly, and we want to make sure that we can count on your knowledge and education to be up to date and be a credible person on the database. So like right now, what's in there is there's some special guest presentations in there. There is copies of all the master classes, and a few like trainings that I'll just pop in. So I was trying to figure out like how this works for you guys going forward. So like our girls that renewed, they were responsible for all the content that was shared this last year in the 1st year. I don't think that it's necessary for you guys to watch the masterclass replays as a requirement of the years prior. So I think what is going to be required of you is everything starting from your membership commencement date, which is October 1st. Now, everything's in the portal. You can watch those. There's trainings, there's specific topics that I trained on, but I'm not going to require you to sit through the other students' check-in updates, if that makes sense. So everything starting from October 1st, 2024 in the portal, in the 1st unit, you'll be responsible to just have completed by the time you renew your membership next year. It's not that overwhelming. There's not that many things. Okay. Any question on that? All right, you are not required to attend any of the education and support teachings live, although we do hope that you will. Replay access is available for all of the membership offerings. Again, you'll have at least 2 weeks notice for the master classes. There's 4 a year, and I'll give you as much notice as I can for special guests. You must have an annually current CPR and first aid certification to be an active member featured in the database. You're required to submit proof of certification via email. You must submit your bio, photo, and services link for the database by email to our team in Illuminatrix Gmail. Obviously, we know you're not going to be sending your photos in yet, but I would say don't wait for the photos. Get going on your bio now so we can get it edited and ready so that by the time the photos do drop in, we'll be able to just get them on the database. A complimentary 30-minute annual renewal call with Danielle prior to your membership renewal is required. I'll open up my calendar for that. Usually around the middle of August or the beginning of August, and we require you to make the decision to renew your membership by September 15th. So you have to have that call with me. You have to have all of your work caught up and completed, and you'll have to pay for your membership or initiate your first payment by September 15th so that we have the last 2 weeks of the year, the membership year, to kind of like get you rolled over into the next year. one facilitated practicum of your choosing to be completed on your own time to remain current in your facilitation skills. If you're actively providing facilitation services to clients, this will serve as your practicum. So what we're asking you is to participate in something that involves psychedelics throughout the year. Okay, so if you having clients, that serves as your practicum. If you're not having clients, you need to do something. You need to sit ceremony. You need to do a intentional microdosing protocol. I don't care what it is. I'm not the one who decides your relationship with psychedelics, but you have to keep your relationship current. Maybe it's a project that you work on me with, that we're offering in the field of psychedelics. It doesn't matter. You know if you did your practicum or not. Okay. And I also know if you did your practicum or not, because you're either going to tell me if it's something that I didn't see by something that you were facilitating online or that you shared or celebrated, or I'm going to see it. Okay. At this time, there's no annual exam or testing for renewal of membership. This may change in years to come. However, at this time, there's no testing or anything like that. Does anybody have any questions on what's required? So this membership is still primarily facilitated by me. The quarterly masterclasses will be hosted on Zoom. The guest presenters and other supplemental education will be delivered how and as necessary. You will receive notifications of master classes scheduled the month prior to when scheduled to allow you that flexibility to be live if you choose. The guest presenters and other supplemental education will be prepared with as much notice as possible. There will not be scheduling preferences or requests available. Like I said, I still am in tune with your guys' schedules for the most part. Like I know who has a 9 to 5, I know who likes weekends. So I will take that into consideration as much as possible, but there's no guarantees on that. Also, the quarterly calls are a check-in and allows you to connect with other people. We are adding the Zoom calls, workspace calls. I didn't add that to your contract as a guaranteed thing because I don't know how it's going to work, but it is something that we were putting in. The 30-minute renewal call will be scheduled within 60 days of October. So I'll probably open up my schedule in the beginning of August. You'll have your membership website portal to host all of the materials of the membership. Your progress will be tracked as part of your renewal requirements, which we just went over. You'll be communicated with regarding need to know communication via email. There's no active message threads. Everything you need to know will be delivered by email. I will never deliver an instruction to you through an IG thread, none of that. You're going to get it through email. Please allow a 30-day processing time for placing wholesale orders. Sometimes it can be done faster than that, but do not message us thinking you're going to have a wholesale order by the next week. Just let's be very clear on that. If you do need an emergency order of psilocybin, you always have the opportunity to purchase a retail order of the Metacybin for the singular price for the 30-day supply. So if you're like, shit, I got a client, I need something, you'll just have to order that way, if that makes sense. All processing for wholesale orders can be done through the Team Illuminatrix Gmail, and all of your support and questions throughout the membership, please use the Team Illuminatrix Gmail. There's more people managing that email. Response will be given quicker. I would prefer if you not ask me any questions regarding any backend stuff, any clerical stuff, any logistical stuff about the EE method through my DM. I love that you guys DM me and I want my DM to remain an open door place, but I don't DM really with people that are not my clients. So just remember that when you're DMing me. And if you need support from me, DM me to let me know that you need support so that I can give you some ideas of what I can offer to you, whether it be a session or whatever. The rules and regulations, this is important. So your certification qualifies you to be a member of the EE method affiliation for as long as you desire, renewable by annual membership requirements. Under no circumstances are you a subcontractor or employee of Elevated Experience Industries or Danielle Bolton. In addition, you are not a division of the Elevated Experience method. You are a certified psychedelic facilitator affiliated with the Elevated Experience method. You have not been licensed to utilize the EE method logo or any of the signature programs, events, retreats, and experiences run by Elevated Experience and Danielle Bolton. Under no circumstances are you permissible to utilize the EE method as the representative of your own work and offerings. Under no circumstances are you to utilize the EE method as part of your business name or service offerings. As a certified psychedelic facilitator affiliated with the EE method, you have permission to utilize the approved and provided overlay logo as representation of your affiliation with the EE method. We support you in this. You are able to utilize this on your marketing materials, sales pages, and websites as you see fit if you feel supported by it. Under no circumstances is the logo to be altered in any way. It must be used in its original form as it's been shared with you. Under no circumstances is the EE method logo symbol to be detached from the logo provided for you to use. The logo symbol is not to be used separately or alone. So when you see the overlay, you're going to see it looks just like ours. It's the logo. Ours says the Elevated Experience Method. Yours is the logo with Certified Psychedelic Facilitator. Okay, you can use it together. It's not to be separated. The EE method is not a licensure to use our methods, techniques, offerings, or brandings as your own. We require cooperation with this, especially in regards to the branding of our company and merchandise representing our company and our offerings. The EE method is a program and process to lead you to your own offerings and brand, and affiliation to support you on your own individual path of psychedelic facilitation. So this is super important to remember as you guys work together. You know, respect us and also respect your other classmates. It's very easy to like be working together and feel an emulation that kind of wants to happen. We ask you as you're creating your offerings, your services, your branding, your merchandise, that you stay original with that, and you know, really let it be a representation of who you are. Obviously, we're co-working, we have a hive mind here. We have a lot of like-minded things, and you know, in the marketplace, there's not a lot of original ideas, but we just encourage you to search for your own way within your marketing and your branding. And just, you guys saw how individualized each of your brands are. So hive mind, mastermind with each other, but make sure you're respecting each other's brands. If we see you crossing a line of, you know, copyright infringement, or it just feels a little bit uncomfortable, like things are looking too similar, we'll open the conversation with you. No one's in trouble. Sometimes this can happen and like you don't even realize it. We've all been there before. We see things online and we're like, oh my God, I love this. This is so cool. And it's very easy to fall into sort of a replicating, you know, practice. And sometimes it just needs a little conversation around that, and just know that we love you. And if we see something, we will say something. And we totally understand because we've been there before. Okay. Art is designed to make you feel. So when you see art or ways of expression that you love and you feel something, it inspires you. And so we get it. And there's no judgment on that. Just want to make sure we stay super clean with that. Under no circumstances are you permissible to utilize or recreate the signature offerings of the Elevated Experience Industries, such as but not limited to Girls Trip, The Mushroom, The Heart Passcode, Cybiz, Double Black Diamond Mentorship, Psychedelica Creativa, Magic Moves, and all other services provided by Elevated Experience Industries. That's just basically asking you, don't use our names. If you put together a women's retreat, a luxury psychedelic women's retreat, you're not permissible to call it Girls Trip. Just being super clear that we don't share program names with you. We request and expect you to be a good standing member of the EE method as long as you are an active member and representative of the affiliation. We request and expect you to respect and honor your fellow siblings with the affiliation, which includes their signature services and offerings. So just kind of, again, what I was just referring to. If at some unforeseen time in the future, you decide to no longer participate in the membership and affiliation of the EE method, all certification rights and member benefits will be discontinued in totality. To remain an active member of the EE method, you will be required to retain your membership annually with no separation in between years. At this time, there's no plan or protocol for someone who separates from the EE method to once again return. So we don't foresee any reason why you would want to separate from us. It's a very low membership fee. It shouldn't be creating a financial burden on anyone. So for some reason, the year is ending, it's coming up, you're feeling some kind of stress, talk to us. Don't separate from us. Just talk to us. Even if it's time to pay the $200 and you're doing really bad for some reason, just like talk to us about it. Don't separate from us. We want to keep you going and keep you connected. Are there any questions about the agreement? Sometimes agreements sound a little bit intense. It's not meant to sound intense. It's just meant to be very clear.
I had a question just on the logo. I know you said like the main one and then the one certified facilitator. You want us to overlap those when we're using them.
You
Is it-
can. So basically, once you get the portal in the resources, you'll see the files that you can use for overlaying. It looks like ours, except for instead of it saying the elevated experience method, it says certified psychedelic facilitator with our actual logo. So that's what you're allowed to use. What I was explaining was, you know how in my stories you guys see me and I just put the logo? We're asking that you do not separate the logo and just put the logo. So that is us representing our company. You're allowed to use our logo in its full whole state, stating you're a certified psychedelic facilitator. And you don't have to use our logo. It's just for fun. If you want to, if you like that idea of associating with that, if you like the idea of having it on your website, showing some type of credential, it's yours to use if you feel like it's beneficial or you're into it. But you don't have to affiliate with us in that way at all. It's just for fun if you want to.
I just wanted to make sure that I'm using it correctly when I go in there and get.
Yep. So basically, you'll get the files. Let's say you have a flyer that you made for your event and you want to put it in the corner of the flyer because you like it and you want to show your affiliation, you can. If you have a website and you want to put it somewhere, you totally can. And if we see it, I think it'll be pretty clear once you see the file. It's just you put it on and that's it. If we see it being used in some other random way on accident, we'll just let you know. We're not concerned about anybody doing anything weird here. These are just the kind of things, this is a learning lesson for you guys as well, to be super clear about your expectations and the rules and the boundaries with your people, knowing fully well that no one's going to read and no one's going to remember. And there probably will be some things that maybe need to be addressed and it's not that big of a deal, and your clients will do that to you as well. And oftentimes it's not malicious in any type of way. So just having everything very clearly written out when you're creating your agreements. Okay. Heather, I wanted to give you an opportunity to debrief or share anything that you wanted to share.
I also don't have words. I don't know how to talk yet in the morning either. Mm. I was very peaceful, magical, wonderful retreat. I'm gonna do a bed routing day today and just or drool on the couch day. I had to keep moving as well. So I'm just gonna keep integrating.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say, I think.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So I think that brings us to a close. This went a little longer than I expected. But I will get you, I have two things that I need to get to you. I need to get to you the Instagram page of the people that we have the relationship with logos, in case you guys want to utilize that. And there's, they will give you a discount since we referred you. And then I'm going to send you the graphic that has the wholesale pricing on it. And then I will close the Voxer out tonight. I will add you guys to the IG chat. I'm going to be scheduling the meet and greet within the next week. And then I will get the date set for the co-working day. And then we'll get the date set for November's class. And again, all of the information will be shared with you via email. The last thing that I do want to say before we go is this has been a really awesome experience for me, getting to train you guys in this capacity and getting to be a leader and a guide for you in this way. And my relationship to you is going to change greatly as we go into this next phase. But I am still ultimately here for you in the same way. And I'm really excited about your transition into the membership side. I'm really excited for this year of membership. Last year, it was more of a wild card and I didn't really know what to expect. But I'm really excited about all of the realizations you guys are having and all of what I'm seeing so far. You guys make me feel excited when I see you guys sharing. I can feel your hearts. I can feel how alive this is for you. And I really want you to see the membership as your accountability partner. It's the way for you to stay tethered to this work. And I think this is what makes this a program that can really, really allow you to blossom into this work. You know, this isn't just another program that's going to live in your computer somewhere. Now, like you're in the real thing. Like the training was one thing, but now you're like in the real thing. And this is where it actually happens. No education, no training, no information is going to make it happen for you. You could be the most certifiable, educated person in the world and not be doing shit. So cheers to the education that we just received. It was a pleasure to work with all of you on that level. And now it's fucking go time, show time. I want to see you guys be the psychedelic facilitators that you know you are in your heart. I want to see you be unique. I want to see you be fearless in what you're offering. And I want you to be a leader in this industry. You are a part of an affiliation that is on the leading edge of the magic of psychedelics. And we are doing something very special and very different. We are the space in between. And there are so many people looking for the magic that you offer. So know that. Okay. Anything else that we need to address before we close? You're so welcome. I love you guys very much. I'm gonna go probably like cry in my bed a little bit, snuggle my cats, and do some motherfucking work today because we got things to do. All right. You're amazing and perfect as you are. Make sure you're scanning your business cards. We'll check to see who's scanning them. Make sure you're scanning them. Heather will know. Okay. Bye.